Are you ready to take your quilting to the next level? Whether you're just starting or looking for fresh inspiration, the Elevate Box Club is designed just for you. As one of our club members, you'll receive a quarterly box packed with exclusive tools, patterns, and fabric to bring your projects to life. We host live classes every month, plus recorded lessons available anytime on our Sew Study University. Join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. for live inspiration on YouTube. We have a club for everyone. Choose from our ruler work club, our pattern only club, or the Elevate Box Club. Want it all? We also have a Get It All Club, combining ruler work and embroidery collections. Whatever your style and no matter your skill level, the Elevate Box Club is here to help elevate your creativity. We never stop learning together.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is the Friday before Christmas, and I'm going to be working on this Christmas project that I have. Behind me is a quilt. It's one of those one block wonders. I hope that you guys have had an opportunity to make a one block wonder. It has been so much fun that I actually even have another one in the works. And I kind of want to work on this one today. We have these new templates that are in your brand new Get It All box. And so that's what I'm going to be working from. The only difference will be I'm not going to take this quilt down and work on it because I learned about a couple of years ago that if I try to quilt on like a white background, and especially if I'm trying to use light colored threads, that it does not transfer very well to online classes. What you see is my camera trying to focus on the fabric and trying to find a spot to focus on. So it kind of looks a little shimmery or shaky. So I have gone ahead and got my good old trusty black fabric out and my templates and bright gold thread so that as I'm working on these designs, you will be able to see them. Now, the next time you see this quilt, though, I will have been able to add those designs onto it. And so I just wanted to kind of let you know that's why you're going to see me working on black fabric today so that you can actually see what I am doing. I've had a lot of fun with this quilt. I have a lot of snowflakes on it already, and I've got a lot of the outline work done, but I still have a really good ways to go on it. This is In the Beginning Fabrics. It's actually Jason Yenter's last year's Christmas tree. I know it's still available out there in a lot of different shops. If this is a quilt that you decide you want to make, you need 7 of these panels to make it. You'll have one that you put kind of in the center of the or wherever you want it on your quilt. One of them will remain uncut. The other 6, you will stack them together, pin them together, and cut them up so that you come up with these cute little shapes and things like that. And on my particular one, I reworked it a couple of times before I found a balance that I kind of liked. And I have the lighter colors up at the top, and then I've gone down to darker colors at the bottom. And you may not can see the darker colors right now. So when I step away from here, I'm going to pull my camera back and kind of let you see the entire quilt. And then I'll also bring in a couple of close-ups showing you some of the snowflakes that I've already made. Now, as you know, snowflakes are, if I'm not mistaken from my science classes back in school, snowflakes have like 6 points to them. And that's kind of the way they always are. That's how the crystals kind of form out. So when I get ready to quilt these out for you, I am going to do 6 points, but then I'm also going to do some 8-point ones because I've been looking around and I think they're really cute that way too. And I want you to see the different things that you can do with this. Now, these new templates, you could also even quilt it out as 12-point if you want to, and that would look really cool too. So I'm going to step away from my quilt now and That way I can kind of point out some things about the quilt to you. And I hope that if you've not done a one block wonder, I hope you'll give it a try because it's a lot of fun. So let me step around the corner and we'll talk about the quilt. I'm going to pull this away. First of all, I'm going to give you kind of an all over view of it. That is my quilt. Went with all lights, kind of like if it were a sky. And then as I got lower and lower, I went with darks. And at the very bottom, it's all of my darkest 6-point hexagons, whatever. And then over to the side, I have some other Christmas projects that I've kind of been working on. Let's focus more on them. And this was made with a set of templates that So Steady has. It is the Mrs. Claus's, I think it's Mrs. Claus's workshop, or at least Mrs. Claus. And they are DMQ templates. And I've used those just to make these cute little wall hangings and stocking. And this next year, I have a few stockings to make for family members. So you may get to see a few of those being worked on in some of my monthly classes that I'm going to be doing. I think that stockings are a lot of fun. And a few years ago, at my own family, we had this big long mantle, and there are 11 family members now. One son has 4 children. So with he and his wife, there were 6 stockings I needed to make. My other son has 1 child and a wife. So there were 3 I needed to make there. And then I made, of course, one for my husband and me. So our mantle is very full with Christmas stockings. And I love that time of the year when I get to put the Christmas stockings out. Now, this quilt, I'm not sure where it's going to go, but it's probably going to lay across my sofa or something around Christmas time when I get this finished. And it may travel with me a little bit while, because I go and teach for guilds and things like that. I do guild presentations, and then I also teach one-day classes for guilds. So some of you that have contracted me to come and speak to your guild, if I get this quilt finished, maybe you'll get to see it. So I hope so. That would be a lot of fun. Now I'm going to bring you around the corner, and we're going to get set up at my sewing machine. So give me just a moment. And you'll get to see a little bit of my studio. It's not exactly horrible looking today. Normally it looks like a bomb went off in here, but I've actually kind of been cleaning it up just a little bit, not a whole lot, because you know that never happens. So let's get you over here. Y'all don't need to be seeing my feet. You need to see what we're working on instead. So here are the templates that are in this particular set of this new box. You know, the new box that came out, we had a big show about it yesterday, and I did not get to stay online. I had a place I needed to go, so I'm sorry about that, but I did get to watch for about an hour and a half of it. That box is absolutely amazing. There are so many wonderful things in it. And you know, I say every single quarter, I don't know how you can top that last box, but it seems like every single time they do that, they just make it better and better and better. And you get about $400 worth of value out of this box because there's all kinds of classes. Now, the class that I'm showing you today is not included in the box. This is what we would call a bonus box or bonus lesson. And I'm going to have one of these every month. So, and it's going to be using templates from this particular box. So I'm excited about getting to do that for you. And so let's get started. I've laid these out because I want you to see just what is in each box. This is the number 9 Spin-e-Fex Slow. I can't talk today. Number 9 Spin-e-Fex Snowflake. There, got it all out. Mine happens to be high shank because I'm using a Bernina machine, and it is a high shank machine. Now, something that I want to tell you. My Bernina is a high shank machine, but I can also use low shank templates on that particular machine. So I want you to think about it this way. If I have a true high shank machine, which I do, that means that I can use high shank, low shank, and even a long arm template. So if I walk into a store to buy templates and all they have are the low shank, that's okay. I can purchase those, or I can even order them from SoSteady or through me if you want to. Uh, but I'm not tied to just using the high shank rulers if they don't have those in stock. Now, that is not the case on a low shank machine. A low shank machine has too low a clearance where the uh, foot is connected to the rest of the machine. So what would happen if you tried to use a high shank machine on a low shank, if you tried to use a high shank ruler on a low shank machine, is you won't have enough clearance for the back, through the back of the where your foot attaches. So kind of keep that in mind. And that's not always the case, but it is a good rule of thumb that you know that. Now, if you are on a long arm, I recommend that you only purchase long arm. Now, I do have a Q20 sit down that I can use high shank and long arm both on, but I learned the hard way. I can absolutely not use low shank templates. That machine has what's called a hopping foot, which means that the foot goes up and down, kind of like this, as it's quilting, and it has a tendency to be able to hop up on that template. So on that particular machine, I will only use high shank or long arm. So as long as I'm not using that particular template on that machine, it's okay if I order low shank or if I have low shank for my Bernina high shank. This is a 790, but all of the ones 790, 570, 330, whatever. If you have Bernina's foot, you are going to be a high shank machine. Now, if you have a machine that you don't have a ruler foot for, or say the company does not make a ruler foot, the company that you bought the machine from does not have a ruler foot that fits it, we'll contact SoSteady. We have about 6 different ruler feet, and we can fit pretty much any machine that's out there. So will be able to do your ruler work through us. So I'm really excited about that. I think that's a wonderful thing. Most of you know that I got into ruler work about 2016, and then I became an instructor for SoSteady in 2017. And ruler work gives me the perfection that I was looking for. I do a lot of free motion work, and I like it, but I couldn't get the perfection that I wanted when I started doing the free motion work. And as an example, I was trying to make a circle on a quilt. And so I would put that circle in free motion. I had drawn it out, and then I would look at it and it wasn't perfect. And on a circle, if it's not perfect, it's very glaring. So I would actually rip it out, and then I would put another one in, and I ripped them out probably 2 or 3 times. Well, the next year the rulers came out, and I had that wonderful 2-inch ruler that comes in the sampler set, the first starter set. And I still teach from that starter set today because I think it is awesome, and it has a little bit of everything in it. Well, that next year I had a quilt that needed circles on it, and I had perfect circles every time without having to rip anything out. So I was sold from that moment on. So if you want perfection in your quilting, and most of us do, then you need to be using rulers. And you can do your free motion quilting along with it too. That's awesome that you do that. But if you want the perfection, add the rulers to it too. Now, let's talk about the rulers that I have in place. see, we can put this right here and right here. Well, we don't need that. All right. This is the Spin-e-Fex number 9, that snowflake that I told you about. And I've put some markings on mine. I'm actually going to do 4 of these snowflakes for you today. I'm going to do a shorter version of just this little arrow looking piece. And then I'm going to do a longer version that uses the entire thing. And I'm going to do the same thing. This is the snowflake Spin-e-Fex number 10. And I'm going to do the same thing with it. Now, these are really neat the way they've done this. I have a circle, a 1/2-inch circle. And if any of y'all have looked at my work and taken any of my classes online, you know that I happen to love the 1/2-inch circle. And I will use it a lot of times. I will take it and make like a chain or something like that. I think circles just add so much to everything. So you've got the 1/2-inch one right there, and it's perfect. I love it. Over on the side, you also have these cute markings, and you've got a little indent, that's kind of a hook. And so you have something perfect for straight lines. And you've seen me many, many times actually use the side of my template to work with a straight line. Maybe I'm a little bit on the lazy side. I don't want to grab my straight line ruler out or go find it. So the side of the template is perfect for that. So there you have that. I used, let's see, let's put these over here. I had a 6-inch ruler that I drew my lines with. And then I also had an 8-inch ruler. So I've used both of those today. If you don't have the 6-inch and the 8-inch, I highly recommend that you get them. They come in 2 sizes. We have an 8.5-inch and we have a 12.5-inch. I tell my students, if the only one you can afford is, if you can only get one, go ahead and get the 12.5-inch one. If you can get both of them, I recommend that you do, because you can do both, draw your lines out with either one. But many, many times I actually use the edges of that template, and they become, I use them to cut my block down to the size that I need. And y'all see a lot of times on my work that my work is cut down to a 12.5-inch square. And I use my that 8-point crosshair ruler to actually cut that down. So that way, every single time, all of my blocks are exactly 12.5 inches or 8.5 inches, whichever I happen to need them to be. And I don't have to worry about, okay, did I cut this a 1/4 inch too short on the left side or anything like that. So it just works great for me. So I know you guys are ready to quilt. I've got one more thing to show you. This is not included in the new box, but I felt like you should know about them. You can get these through So Steady, through me, whatever. They're the DM Quilting. That's the 5-piece Mrs. Claus template set. So some of the work that you saw up on the on my design wall was actually used with using this, and I love it because it's got a Christmas ornament. It's got 3 Christmas ornaments, really, if you count the bells, but it also has holly and a berry and ribbon candy. I don't know about y'all, but I grew up with ribbon candy at my grandmother's house. And so anytime I see ribbon candy, I think of my grandmother on my dad's side, because she always had that at Christmas time. And I just think it's a special thing. And you, every now and then, you'll still run up on a store that carries old time candies and things like that, and you'll see that. All right, so I'm going to move everything out of the way, and we're going to get started quilting. I know that's what you're here for. Okay, got my templates ready, my machine is ready, and my machine is kind of needing a good cleaning, but hopefully it will cooperate with us today. And I need to take it in for a good spa treatment. If you don't do that with your sewing machines, I highly recommend that you do. They are happier and healthier when they are serviced and taken care of. I am going to turn off the light on my machine because I think it just shows up a little better if I don't have those on. Shows up better for you. All right, so that's been done. And everything is good. Okay. Now, I am using, like I said, it's a Bernina 790. I still have a light on. Let's see if I can find that one. No, probably can't. All right. We'll turn that one off. That will help. Okay. That's just a side light that I use over here that kind of helps keep everything kind of, there we go. Maybe this will work. Oh, okay. I got it off. Wow. Okay. Okay. I think you'll be able to see a whole lot better with that, the way it is. All right. So everything is ready. I have my ruler foot on. Like I said, if you don't have one, talk to So Steady. We have them and we can fit any machine out there. And if your machine company makes their own, I recommend that you use them. I think you'll really like it. But you use whatever you need to so that you can do this kind of work. It's a lot of fun. I noticed that when I've come out here and I'm working on designing my quilt, whatever, I go in at the end of the day and I'm kind of like a bowl of jelly. I am just relaxed and I've had a good day. And I have a little sign up on my wall that my daughter-in-law had made for me. It's actually painted, and it says, "I know I've had a good day quilting if I come home with threads all over me." And I think that very much holds true. Okay, so we have a choice on this particular template. We're going to put all of these to the inside, the leaf part of it, and then I'm going to put the arrow point to the outside. And I should have already drawn my lines all the way out, but I can kind of look at it. You've sewn and quilted long enough that you know whether you're online or not. So that looks pretty good. And I'm going to hold this and we're going to get started. I have done a needle down, needle up, and I have brought up my bobbin thread. Now you always want to do that because that way you can reach back there and snip those bobbin threads and not have to bury them, and you don't want them making a bird's nest on the back of your quilt. So always bring those up and just kind of hold them in place. Now, if I were working on a show quilt, I would hang on to these and leave them, and then I would put a knot in them and I would bury them in my batting. But this is probably not going to be a show quilt. It's only going to be shown at my house on Christmas, during the Christmas season. So let's get started on this. I'm going to take 4 tiny stitches. I have my machine set in ruler work mode, which means that my feed dogs are dropped. I have a good needle in here, 80-12 or a 90-14, whatever brand your machine likes. Mine is not picky. It likes a lot of different brands, but some are not that way. So let's get started. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to see if you have questions, but I'll try to look at these later on and see if there were any questions and try to answer them. Stacy stepped out, but so you got me. You're stuck with me today. I typically will stop at a point like that and give it a chance to just make a really good point, because the last thing I want is one that's, where my thread didn't quite catch. Be careful when you're coming up here and you're going around these outside. I've got an outside point that I've got to come into. So just kind of go slow. And I'll move those threads out of the way. And I'll stop right there. And if I need to take an extra stitch or two to get me right back online, I will. It doesn't hurt a thing. Now I can reach back here and cut these threads. And I'm ready. Anytime that you are raising and lowering your presser foot, kind of move your template out just a little bit. You don't want to come down on the edge of that template, or you don't want to come down on top of it. So you saw me, I just moved it out a little bit so that I could come down right in the very center of that opening. All right, now I'm ready to move it. So I'm going to move over and I'm going to line this back up in front of me, and I'm going to line up everything again. That all looks good. And so I'm ready to start quilting. And let's see if I can put my hand where it doesn't interfere with you. This is an adorable design. What I plan to do on my big quilt that you saw earlier is I started out quilting it with white thread. Well, I'm sorry, but I think that looks pretty boring. So all of the white ones are on there. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to put red in. I'm also going to put in a navy blue and a lighter shade of blue. The quilt has some gold in it, and it has some green, and it has some brown. So I am going to put all of those colors in it. I think that would look way cool. Now, this first one that I'm working on, this first snowflake, it's not a true snowflake because I have 8 points in it. And so snowflakes only have 6, but that's okay. You get to see a really cute design. I can see this on, say, a placemat. I can see it on a quilt. I'm going to bring my hands down a little bit. If you'll notice, I like to have my fingers kind of over where I have stable tape, like right here and here. And I'm just taking my time coming along this because it's not a race. It is, I'm looking for perfection. And if I have to slow down so that I get that perfection, well, so be it. Have fun with it. I have my machine set on medium speed. All right, now I'm going to bring my hands down again because I have better control if I'm stitching between where my fingers are. And by that I mean my fingers on the left and fingers on the right. They don't need to be stretched from one end of the template to the other. Now I can shift my fingers again and come back up and hold it at the top. Accidentally had a big stitch there, but you know what? It happens. And that would be, to me, one of those kind of so what moments. It happens. Now I want you to take note, when I come back to the top, I'll point this out to you. But there are several different designs going on. Here I am moving my hands again. There are several different designs going on in this pattern that I'm making. Because I've got a kind of an arrow at one end, or a point at one end, and I have a flower at the other end. So lots of little fun things going on. When I get back up to the top, I'll pull the template away a little bit and let you see. I went too far, so I took a few steps back. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way for just a moment. And I want you to look at all of this design that's going on here. Look at this. Isn't that fun? Now, when I make this again in a few minutes, I will flip it around so that the leaf end of it are at the other end. So I'm going to put it back on though, and we're going to finish out this design with the petals pointing to the inside. All right, remember, I'm going to drop my presser foot in that nice opening. And then I'm ready to go again. shift my hands down. You don't ever want to have both of your hands off of your template at the same time. If I have to do something which requires me to move a hand away, I always make sure I have one hand on the template. It just, because you never know, you may accidentally move something and you just don't want that. So I would always leave one hand on if I'm going to stop or shift or reach for something or anything like that. And that's something that I teach my students, is always make sure you have one hand on there. If I take both off, my template could actually slide and mess up my design. And I've worked hard to make a pretty design. I don't want it messed up. How many of you are getting a new sewing machine for Christmas? Have y'all talked to Santa Claus and said, hey, I think it's time for a new one? I am not getting a new machine this year because I feel like I really have what I need. My last purchase was a travel machine, and it's actually has a 5 millimeter foot instead of the 9, and it's just a handy little travel machine. So if you see me out teaching somewhere, you're actually going to see that machine with me. I think the year before, my big purchase was an embroidery machine. And guys, if y'all have not tried the embroidery in Sew Steady's Get It All box, you have missed a treat. I know some of you have been watching. I'm actually making placemats to go in my dining room with the designs that we have. They are absolutely stunning. And every time I show them to somebody, they're like, oh my gosh, how do I get that? Well, they're in the box. And if you don't have embroidery, I still recommend that you purchase the Get It All box, simply because you have friends that quilt and you have friends that embroidery. What a fantastic gift if you give them the embroidery that came in your box if you don't embroidery. So always save those. I tell people, do get the Get It All. Don't even bother getting the one that just has the templates only, because at some point you may decide you want an embroidery machine, and then you've got that whole collection. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. All right, now we're going to do the same template, but we're coming over. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to get in the middle, and we're going to turn this to where that'll quit shaking any minute now. There we go. We're going to needle up, needle down, bring up our bobbin thread, and your machine will automatically do that for you if you hit the needle up, needle down button, or you press the front of your not presser, your foot pedal, whatever, if you want it to. Now, I'm old school. The machine I grew up on was my mother's Singer, and I kept it messed up. Thank goodness my dad knew how to service that machine, because he kept it in good running shape for me and Mother. And but I kept it messed up. I was always messing with the tension or whatever, or would bend a needle, whatever. We went through a lot of sewing machine needles when I was growing up. Okay, now I have this template in place, and I am going to make the little leaf looking design. I've gotten an arrow because I want to stop here every time, and I want to just make sure that I have it lined up properly. And that is on there's numbers over on the side. I think that's a 6 below this arrow. And so I want it on the 6, which means that it's going to make about a 6-inch design. So here we go. I've always quilted with gloves on, and I have them handy if I need them, but I went to all this trouble for a good nail job, and I just wanted you guys to see it. I love Christmas time when you have so many fun different things that you can decorate with, and yeah, it's kind of fun to decorate your hands. Anyway. All right, so we're getting ready to make this next little design. I think these are so cute. And they're going to look awesome on my quilt. They are. Okay. Does everybody have their Christmas shopping all done? I do, for the most part. I've got some I need to wrap. And then I've got just a couple more that I need to buy. And a friend of mine and I are going shopping tomorrow. I almost dread getting out in that big crowd to go shopping tomorrow, but it's just going to be so much fun. And like I said, I get to go with one of my quilting buddies, so that makes it even more fun. I am loving this design. It is just so cute. Let me pull this away and show you what I have so far. I love doing that. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That is going to be so cool on that quilt. Okay, so let's get back to it. And if you notice, my designs aren't quite touching, so I could do something really cute. If I have time, we'll do it. If not, we won't. I could actually turn this around and, let's say, come right up between these two designs. I could come up with this little design and even come, I would probably, that's on like 5.5. That looks like about a 5.5. So I could actually come in here just a little bit and do another design right in here using this as my point. Sorry, we'll see. We'll see how much time we have. I want to try to give you at least an hour, but I want to get it all in too. And Stacy's not with me right now, so I could run over and who would know? Okay, I'm going to do 4 tiny stitches right there, and that's just my locking stitches. Let's move this out of the way. I'm going to bring up my bobbin thread so that I can cut it. There it is right there. Can you see that? That's brought my bobbin thread up. That's what I wanted to do. I know a lot of this is repetition for some of you pros that are out there, but sometimes we have new students that really have never done this before. I love that. I think that is just gorgeous. And we may come along in a little bit and add that other little peak that I was telling you about, this little piece right here. But let's see how much time we have first. All right, now we're moving to the one that's the arrow. And this is so cute. It looks like it's just a little cute short arrow. And let's see, how do I want to do this? I think what I'm going to do is turn it this way, and then I'm going to flip it and turn it this way, and do every other one, a different. So let's do that. I'm going to start right here in the center. Needle up, needle down. There we go. And that's my machine bringing needle up, needle down. And there's a couple of ways you can bring that thread up. This one is called flossing. And that's probably better than what I typically do. A lot of times I'll wind up with my fingers under my needle, pulling up that bobbin thread. And it's probably not a real good move on my part, because what if I accidentally hit something, or say my machine kind of malfunctioned and came down with that needle on my finger? I don't ever want that to happen. When I was a little girl, the lady that lived next door to us came over to the house screaming. She had run a sewing machine needle into her one of her fingers. She had to be carried to the hospital or to the emergency room to have that removed. So I'm always mindful of that. And so I know you've heard me talk about it before, but yes, that was something that has always stayed with me, to be a little extra careful whenever I'm around a sewing machine and a needle. And yes, I kept my mother's machine torn up when we were young, because a lot of things I didn't know, but that was not one of the things that I didn't know. Okay, coming back up to the top, I'm keeping one hand on here, and I'm moving this thread out of the way because I do not want to run over it. Now, something else I could do is I can put my fingers back here. I can reach back here with a pair of scissors and go ahead and cut that. And as you get more comfortable doing ruler work, I suggest you try that and do it that way. Okay, now let's flip this and come the other way. See, what I'm trying to show you is the sky is absolutely the limit on ideas that you can come up with. And you know, if I am just completely out of ideas, I will do a little online research. I will maybe go to Pinterest. I'll definitely go to Westalee. What is it? Westalee by me, something like that. And that has recently changed. It's now going to be called So Steady's All Stars, or So Steady Stars. Y'all be sure that you sign up for that. It is going to be really fun. And I love it when I go out there and I see something that one of my students has done. You know, maybe has made a quilt that I was working on, or anything like that. And I love it. And we get to see what all you guys are making. And that's really important to us. All of us teachers, we're like a bunch of mother hens. We just crow and crow and crow whenever one of our students has put something out there that they've made. And I'm proud, very, very proud. Last year, I had a show entered into a contest, and I did not win. I got a second place ribbon and a judge's choice. But you know what? Two of my students, one in the youth category and one in the adult category, won Best of Show. Do you think I wasn't proud? Absolutely, I was proud. That was awesome. And the young student, I've already met with her this year. I kind of have an idea of what she's doing for a quilt, and I'm amazed. She has so much talent, and she's madly working on this quilt for this contest. And she met with me a few days ago, and we I taught her a couple of more little tricks that she can use. So I'm excited to see what she comes up with. That's going to be way fun. And you know, I'm easy to reach. You can reach me at Anmore Quilting, or let's see, what is it? Anmore Quilting, and I'll get it in a minute. AndMoreQuilting@gmail.com. That's it. Email me and show me what you're working on. You can also, I have a Facebook. You can go to Anmore Quilting on Facebook. I want to see what you're doing. I love that. And I try to put my stuff out there too that I'm working on. Okay, I have two more to do, but let's just kind of look at what we've got going on right now. This one is spread out pretty far, so I could actually come in and do a couple of cute little things and do some more filler. I don't know about you, but I have a tendency to quilt it to death. And I kind of like doing that because to me that's the fun. I mean, I love piecing quilts. I do. But the really fun part of it is when you get it all put together and then you start quilting it. To me, that's kind of when the magic happens. It's not a quilt until you have it quilted. Kind of laughed. I was on Facebook yesterday and a lady was showing a quilt that she had quilted, and she does not like to do hand stitch. She didn't like hand stitch or binding, but it's going to be a show quilt. She was like, what do I do? And I thought, oh gosh, I think I would spend the extra time and go ahead and put the binding on by hand if it's going to be a show quilt. If it were just going to be a quilt that was going to stay at my home, yeah, I probably wouldn't go to that much trouble. But to be a show quilt, yeah, you really want it to have all of that little extra stuff on it. Okay, let's bring this up and pull this away. And then I'm going to pull it out so that you can actually see the design. And then I'm going to come back to it and I'm not going to quilt it on here, but I'm going to give you some ideas that are just kind of popped into my head that I think would be really cute on this. Let's pull this away so you can kind of get a good look at it. Look at this interior design that was going on as I was making this design. Now, what if I took the little circles, let's say I drew another line out here, and what if I put like 3 circles in this? Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be cool? I like that. That would be fun. So just think of things that you can do to enhance whatever you've done and to kind of make it your own. Okay, now I want to come back in and I'm going to use the what I would call the feather point of the arrow, and we're going to make that little design, and it's going to be in a 6, so it's going to be like a true snowflake type design. And if I go fast enough on this, I'll have time to go back and do a little more work on the leaf design that we did earlier. So that's all down. This is ready to go. And there's my little arrow. Those are easy to come by. Most fabric stores carry those now, or use some kind of tape or some kind of marking if you don't want to use your entire design. So think about that. I'm only using half of this design on this particular pattern. So, that's just another design that you can come up with and have fun. We have drawing tools so that you can actually draw out your designs. Fabric has gotten so expensive these days. I would hate to, make a design on just practicing, on a piece of fabric that I paid $12 or $13 a yard for. And I know in some places it's even higher than that. So we have drawing tools, and you can get paper and the drawing disc, and you can draw out your design easily and on paper before you ever get to the fabric. And that way you can decide, do I need to make any changes to this? Do I want them closer together? Do I want them farther apart? Do I want them 6-inch rather than 6-point rather than 8-point? There's so much that you can do just drawing these designs out. And I highly recommend that you do that. Most all of us instructors, we do that because we know how valuable fabric is. Okay, this is coming along so cute. Look at that. Well, you can't see it yet. Let me get a couple more in, then I'll flip it up so you can see it. And I'm kind of watching our time. We're at 49 minutes, so I have a little bit of time. As you know, this is going to YouTube, I guess, after we're done with it. So you'll be able to watch this hopefully pretty much forever. All right, let's pull this away and let you see what we have. That's pretty cute. But why don't we take it a step further? Let's go ahead and cut this thread, and we're going to start right back in the center and do something else to it. Pretty good design just by itself. But what if I take this and I come in and I make this design on this end? Let's see, how far up do I want to come? I think I want to come all the way back to where the other part of the arrow starts. So let's pull this loose and come back here a little bit. There we go. Maybe we'll put that right there. And then that's going to bring that design just to the edges of that, of the other design that we have on here. The feather end of the arrow. Okay, put that back down. Bring that up so I've got a good open space to drop that in. And then I am not even going to draw lines. I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. You all have been sewing long enough that you know how to eyeball something, and you can tell whether you're right on it or right in the center of it, which is where I needed to be. Use your instincts. Okay, bring that back up and drop my presser foot, and then let's come back to the next one. Now I'm just kind of, let's see if I can get this more over in front of me. Here we go. I'm looking down in here and I'm looking to see how much distance I have here and here. And if you want to use your spacing gauge to kind of gauge that, please do. We have all of these wonderful tools in our arsenal. Get them out and use them. It's what they're for. I'm loving this. It's cute. Oops. I hope that all of you watched the unveiling of the new box yesterday. If you haven't, see if you can find it online and watch it. There are some wonderful tools in there, and I'm really excited that we have such a wonderful arsenal that we can work from. Oh, I'm liking this. It's turning out so cute. Almost finished. Okay, there's my 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. Let's bring up my bobbin thread, and then I'm going to bring this around to show it to you because I think it turned out so cute. Here we go. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I think it turned out way cool. Now, I still have about 4 minutes, so let's come over here to this design. Remember, I said it was spread out pretty far, and I thought maybe I could add a little more to it. So let's do that. How about, raise that. Just drop my presser. Let's needle in first. I've already brought up my bobbin thread. Now let's drop that presser foot. And let's come in. Let's move this. I'm going to rely pretty heavily on this arrow. I know I want to come back here to about 3 inches. So let's see if we can dig that little arrow up and just make that way. And I don't need this little arrow. I can know to go to 3 inches every time. But if I already have an arrow, why not just use it, take advantage of it being handy for me. Okay, let's bring these threads up and let's come in here. And there again, I'm just going to eyeball it. But seriously, if you feel more comfortable drawing a line in there, please do. I've done this for so long, I don't really have to think about it. But I realize that not everybody has had that luxury. So draw it to death if you need to. Or just put one line, whatever you need. Whatever you need on your quilt to make it come out perfect like what you want it to do, that's what you need to do with your quilt. I use a lot of air erase pens, not so much the water erase anymore, because I had one that I had put a water erasable pen on, and I had done embroidery, and when I took the water erase out, it didn't all come out. So I just kind of watch that now. But if you have tools that you are comfortable with and you know they're going to come out every time, by all means, use them. It's not like it was in the days when my great-grandmother was making quilts, where all she had were, paper templates and a pair of scissors. She was able to, she accomplished quite a lot. But nowadays we have a tool for everything, so it's kind of handy. This is going to be cute. Look at that. Let me move this out of the way for just a moment so that you can see what's happening here. Look at that. That has so much going on with it. I think that turned out really, really cute. I'm going to run over by about a minute or so, but I am going to finish this design for you. So we've got about 3 more to make. If y'all would too, I'm going to be teaching about once a month online for So Steady. If there are some things that you would like to see me demo, please get in touch with me. You can reach me at anmorequilting@gmail.com. And I would love to I'd love to get your ideas. That would be great. Because we're here to instruct you guys on the things that you want to learn. Almost done. Okay, we have two more. These are fun. I cannot wait to tackle the embroidery that came in the new box for yesterday. I've really kind of gotten into embroidery. I actually had just gotten in the freestanding lace embroidery when my little granddaughter came at Thanksgiving. And so she and I came out here one evening and we just played. We had the best time. And I sent all of the little freestanding lace pieces home with her. So that was fun. I don't get to see them very often because they live 2,500 miles from us. We try to get together at least twice a year. So that was a treat getting to sew with her. If you have grandchildren that you get to sew with, or even your children, I highly recommend that you do. We need that generation out making projects and crafts too. You know, keep their little hands and their little minds busy. They're going to do well. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. Whoops. Move this out. Oh, guys, I love that. That's so pretty. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season and a wonderful Christmas, a happy new year, and just happy sewing. Every chance you get, go out to wherever you sew. Go sew for a few minutes. You'd be amazed at how much that relaxes your mind and your body. And, it just gives you, it's a great stress reliever. So have a blessed time, and I will see you in the new year. Bye, everybody.
Are you ready to take your quilting to the next level? Whether you're just starting or looking for fresh inspiration, the Elevate Box Club is designed just for you. As one of our club members, you'll receive a quarterly box packed with exclusive tools, patterns, and fabric to bring your projects to life. We host live classes every month, plus recorded lessons available anytime on our So Steady University. Join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. for live inspiration on YouTube. We have a club for everyone. Choose from our ruler work club, our pattern only club, or the Elevate Box Club. Want it all? We also have a Get It All club, combining ruler work and embroidery collections. Whatever your style and no matter your skill level, the Elevate Box Club is here to help elevate your creativity. We never stop learning together.